This weekend, we will observe Reformation Sunday, even though the actual day that Martin Luther nailed the 95 Theses to the castle door in Wittenberg was on All Hallows Eve, or October 31st. I get the pleasure, though, of preaching this weekend, and we'll spend a fair amount of time looking at the question of just what it is that we're celebrating on such an event like Reformation. And to stir up some interest even right now of what's coming, I thought that I would share some Reformation thoughts for our Friday podcast. This past week, I was in the basement of Emmanuel Lutheran Church downtown Wichita. And they have an artist rendering in English of the 95 Theses written by hand. This document and its placement on the public forum castle door wall in 1517 started a chain of events that shattered the monolithic European church into shards of Protestants of all kinds and all kinds of denominations. And the sheer magnitude of the 95 Theses itself, as opposed to, say, just 10 or 15, reveals that there was much that needed to be talked about and reformed. The Roman Catholic monk Martin Luther had no desire to start his own splinter of Christianity, but the topics within his Halloween thesis would not be easily solved through cordial discourse or theological debate. No, because the items of concern struck at the very heart of what it means to be a Christian. Either Jesus has provided for our complete forgiveness and restoration with God, or he has not. And the prevailing opinion taught from the Pope all the way down to the local priest at that time was that Jesus has done his part of God's salvation plan through his suffering, death, and resurrection, but now each person must also do their part. And if they've not succeeded in covering their sins on this earth through penitential works, penance, and a host of other prescribed good efforts, then one will need to be purged before allowed into the paradise of God. For he is holy, and all who are in his presence must likewise be holy. So, once one dies in such an unholy state, one will need to wait in purgatory and there through suffering and pain make payment. But the church of that day also provided a shortcut from these endless years of suffering. One could pay now with money. One could pay now for deceased relatives and so shorten their stay. It was this system of payment for sins that most troubled the monk Martin Luther. That is, until he began to teach the New Testament, and there he read these life-giving passages that completely contradicted the official teachings of the church of his day. Passages like Romans 14:21. But now a righteousness of God has been manifested apart from the law, the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all who believe. And in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace we have been saved through faith, and this is not of your own doing, it is a gift of God. And a third passage from Galatians chapter 2, verse 16. Yet we know that a person is not justified by works of the law, but through faith in Jesus Christ. All payment that is due to cover over our sin has been completely satisfied by Jesus in his death and resurrection. And now our good works serve a very good purpose, but a very different purpose than making up for deficiencies in our salvation. Now our good works have but one purpose, and it's the same purpose that they've always had from the creation of the first man and woman, and that is to care for our neighbor. All the laws of God serve to provide love, care, and good things for our neighbor as we protect their things, their lives, their marriages, families, reputation, and all that is theirs. And the motivation for such good actions is not to get ourselves out of trouble with God or to lessen our own suffering come Judgment Day. The new motivation from a heart that has been made new in Jesus is love. With that in mind, I hope to see you all this weekend in Bible study and in worship. Oh, and do keep in mind that this Saturday at the Maple campus and Sunday at the Tyler campus, we need all congregation members to bring their trunks for trunk or treat, because we will have hundreds and hundreds of children coming to our houses for a candy.